Hey guys, today I've got a cool little knife to share with y'all that is an Amazon exclusive for Kizer. This guy's only found on Amazon. It is the Kizer Mini Bulldog. Now the Mini Bulldog is not a brand new knife. It's been around in a couple of different configurations, but this would be considered a value or budget version. This one is D2 blade steel, G10 handle, same clutch lock or their bar lock, Kizer's version of the bar lock, and it comes in under 46 bones. So this is a great budget alternative for an amazing little design designed by Osho. So O-S-H-O, there's a period, so I assume O's the first initial, like Osho. And Osho's kind of a unique character by his description on the Kizer website. He's a young knife maker. He's only been making knives since 2022. I think he designed his first knife, but he's been a designer for his whole life. He's a UX design of user interface. So he does like platform, website, things that are very, very technical in nature. So I think it's cool that someone from the tech sector who's got that amazing kind of UX design experience came up with a knife that to me is ergonomically nearly perfect. I've not experienced the full-size Bulldog, but this Mini is just stunning in a way, similar to the Nanner that we looked at a few days ago. But what this knife has that I think is very, very unique, besides the price point, and that is, I think, a very strong price point for a Kizer. You've got this arch on the back of the handle here that comes down into this jimped spine. You've got jimping that runs up the blade and down the blade. So you've got kind of dual jimping depending on where you're putting your pressure to cut. Are you pushing through or piercing? Even though it's got kind of a safer, more sheep's footy blade than a splinter digger, so to speak. But it's the front of the knife is got an integrated choil. You can even see the jimping there. So when I lay this thing in my hand, and my hand's 3.5 inches across, and I go to close it, it's just feels like a chef's kiss. It just really feels comfortable. I don't feel any hot spots, even though that's not the most contoured G10 I've seen. This is a budget knife, right? But you don't feel that. I don't feel the clip in my hand as a hot spot, and I'm just death gripping it now. I can feel right here, but it's not a hot spot. It's just I'm aware that it's there. So this little guy is really the definition of ergonomic cutting excellence, in my opinion. You've got the really strong clutch lock, which Kizer does the bar lock. They call it the clutch lock, as well as anybody. I still think TRM, Kizer, and Vostede are far ahead of the game of the axis lock originators in terms of just the action and the, I guess you'd call it the spring detent as I roll that out there. But this knife can be thumb flicked. It can be reverse flicked. These studs are very grippy. They're stepped and they're wide enough to where you don't slip off of those. But for newer people that don't like thumb studs or getting their hands off of the actual bar, you can pull back on that bar and just give the knife a little flip. So you never need to touch those studs to get it opened and closed. And it locks up like a tank. That bar comes across that tang, making this knife probably one of the strongest EDC lock types on the market. Just a great little guy, a little compact, but gives you a full grip, sheep's foot blade with a clutch lock that has very good blade geometry. It is a flat ground blade. I have not sharpened it, and I have cut with this knife. I have tested this knife on things like paper and cardboard. We'll cut some more cardboard, but it just feels, Trying to slowly see if I need to strop it. No, it's not hanging up at all. And I tried to turn it too quick. I've never had a problem personally with any imported D2. I've heard stories about it. I think Kizer has probably gotten their D2 to be at a standard that performs very well for D2. Again, I don't have a problem with it because what you're getting in return is about a $20 less expensive knife in this case. I think this guy comes in right around 45 bones and a few pennies on Amazon site. That's, I don't think, a sale price. I think that's just the regular price, but we can look at it a little closer. Like I said, I'll leave the link in the description. Before we measure it, Kizer does a great job with their clips, and this is no exception. It's a deep carry clip that has a great little lip, goes in and out of pocket like nobody's business. This is the only colorway that is this price in D2. When you go to the link, you will also see other selections you can make on the link for this knife in Nitro V, this knife in other materials at higher prices, which are great options too. It just depends on what you're looking for, what your budget is looking for, and if this knife even suits your style, right? You've got a little marking on the blade, O Show, who is our designer, D2 Mini Bulldog right here, and then you've got Kizer on the blade. So a little heavy on the branding, but it's not uncommon for Kizer, or most knives for that matter. A couple of size comparisons. Benchmade bug out, and a Sharpie pen. So it's going to be smaller than our bug out, a little bit bigger than our Sharpie. So if we take that to our tape measure, that's going to have this little guy come in right over 6 inches, maybe 6 1/32. The blade on it's 2.5 inches. The cutting edge is right under 2.5 inches. This inside handle is exactly 3 1/4. So from right here to right here is 3 1/4. I can get a full 4 on this knife. I guess if you had a bigger hand, you might be looking at a 3. If I take it all the way to the back of the handle, you're about 3 3/4. And then it doesn't seem overly thin. It doesn't seem thick, but it just seems average. I'm guessing around a 1/2 inch. 0.46. Blade stock, 0.1105. My best attempt at a behind the edge, 0.0170 roughly. Got a nice swedge on the top of the blade where that jimping stops. Your jimping stops, and then it swedges out here. You've got this nice little reverse tanto. I think it's just an attractive knife. Some people will probably think it's ugly, because at first I did, and some of those knives to me, like my PM2, some of my favorite knives, were so ugly when I first got them, they just became kind of little gorgeous knives. This one I think is stunning. When I learned that, you know, Osho was a UX design lead for a company that designs user interfaces, I know he's definitely a thinker, problem solver, and the problem he went to solve was one of an EDC knife that was going to be ergonomically pleasing to carry, that was going to function easily, that was going to cut, and I think he did a great job with a very unique design. So this is the Kizer Mini Bulldog. There are a lot of variations available in a lot of different price points. You can even get this with a Damascus handle. So if you're not into D2, fear not. You can spend a lot more and still get a really good knife. but I'll leave you a link that has a bunch of these on it. And this little guy right now, again, it's under 46 bones. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Kizer in general. They did send this out for me to check out last month. Just waiting for it. I was waiting for it to show up on Amazon's website before I did a video. And it's a great little knife. I've enjoyed carrying it. I'm sure I'm going to pass it along to somebody in one of my members' lives. But that is my thoughts on the Kizer Mini Bulldog. I approve. I think it's a great little knife. Not even a fifth pocket knife. It could be, but I can consider this a primary carry knife. Guys, I want to say thank you to the channel members who support the channel. Thank you. Thank you. I want to say thank you to anyone who comes in and watches my content. That's huge support too. Y'all watching is supporting the channel. If you're so inclined, if you'd hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon, that's a big help. If you hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, that's a big help. But what would be most important to me is if you continue to look out for the guy or gal to your left, keep an eye out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for one another. Go forward with love in your heart and choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.